I was always quite clear that I would vote no. Always, before you vote, look as hard as possible at the small print. Really look at the opportunity in front of you. Well, my name's Caroline Castle. I was born in Hastings in Sussex, and I lived most of my life in southern England, and I've always been strong family connections here, and I moved up to Edinburgh about 6 years ago. I wasn't hugely engaged in politics anyway, and didn't know that much about Scottish politics. Why would Scotland not want to be a member of the UK? I couldn't see any arguments to me that made sense. Anybody who thinks that where we are now is the same as it was in 2014 hasn't been reading any newspapers, you know. Added to that, I've changed because I absolutely love living in Scotland, and I've done quite a lot of reading. I did a course on Scottish politics at Edinburgh University, and it has changed me and it has changed my views. Even though I'm living here, you know, like you could say middle class Edinburgh and everything, I'm also aware of how that there is a big difference culturally and socially in Scotland compared to where I used to live. It is a different culture, it's a different country. It has its own identity and it has its own political views, and they're not represented in the UK. So I can really identify with that now. Brexit was a shock, but the aftermath has been even more of an awakening, I think. I've been really shocked by the change in direction of the UK government. I know we've had a Conservative government before, but it's nothing like what we've got now, which is a very populist-driven, authoritarian Tory government, and not one that I would have ever voted for. Even in the event of a fairly disastrous outcome of Brexit, in a general election, the Conservatives are probably going to win. If there was a really strong Labour opposition, then you could see a fight back and a pushback going, which might rescue us. But I can't see that. I think because they don't really see any clear opposition from the centre-left, their target is to kill UKIP off by appealing to that voter mentality, which is obviously driven by fears of immigration, a distrust of foreigners, and a more protectionist mentality. I was horrified by the idea that if we don't get a deal, if Theresa May doesn't get a deal that she wants, that her answer to that is to dive down into a low tax, low spend economy, bringing corporation tax down, undercutting everybody. Given what's happening to public services and the NHS at the moment, the effect of that would be devastating, and I was shocked that she would even suggest it. I was surprised and disappointed by the response from Ruth Davidson, who I had quite a bit of time for before. She's clearly got some talents as a politician, but you know, she's up a creek without a paddle, like many of them. She can't do very much unless she goes well against her party. And maybe her long-term career aims are not in Scotland, I don't know. But she's certainly not reflecting the views of Scottish Conservatives, actually. I'm now a member and supporter of the SNP, but Scottish Conservatives are generally very pro-Remain, and she's not supporting them either. There may be some transfer of powers back to Holyrood, but it won't have control over immigration, and Scotland needs immigration. It won't have control over its economy. And I suspect that regardless of independence, post-Brexit, the Barnett formula is going to be scrapped anyway. So all the arguments about, oh, but you're getting the Barnett formula, which gives you a cushion, that's going to go anyway. So, you know, it just won't have the control over its own destiny. The businesses that I talk to, which have very diverse workforces, you know, people from all over the EU, Americans, for various diverse workforce, I don't know whether they're more worried about Remain or more worried about independence. Once we know what's happening, then people can make plans. I actually think that there is an underappreciation of the assets and the resources that Scotland has. And I think that might be because I'm an incomer and I've seen it through different eyes, that I think people don't appreciate the resources and the assets that Scotland has to capitalise on. And I really think that maybe with independence it would give it a bit of a kick in the, kick up the backside to get going. And I can see that would give the confidence to Scotland that it would need, because it has immense resources. My friends and family who are up here, who were all yes supporters last time, are kind of, they're surprised that I've changed position. And my daughter, she voted no, but she's definitely voting yes at this time. And I think a lot of young people will feel the same in Scotland. If you have a big negative doom-mongering campaign, I would be very sceptical of it, because I don't think it's true. There is a great opportunity for Scotland as an independent country. I shall be voting yes.